Welcome to greencardguys.tv. You need to know this. Do not give up on your legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. What's going on today? We're going to talk about, can I get my visa showing Communist Party affiliation? And we've been receiving a lot more calls about this, consultations, and saying, look, I've been part of the CCP, Chinese Communist Party. Can I still get my visa? Can I still get my green card? Welcome to greencardguys.tv. I'm your host, John Ting, and I'm here to share information so that you can make an educated decision so that your case can go to the next step or file it correctly the first time. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Here on today is Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. I want to say thank you to all the veterans, folks in active duty. Thank you so much for giving your giving your life. Thank you for putting your life on the line for Americans and people that live in America. And so happy belated Memorial Day for everyone. Let's see here. So yeah, I need to make sure this is phrased correctly, but can I get my visa showing basically even when there is Communist Party affiliation? And of course, I'm happy to answer other questions. So in the meantime, you're welcome to drop a question, type in your question in the comment section, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or on Instagram. And tomorrow I'll go live that will include TikTok. Finally got to the point so I can go live. All right, so that's pretty cool. All right, so here's the deal. Let me find the link, but the short answer to this, okay, is yes, you can still get the green card, resident status, or a visa, even when you have some kind of prior affiliation, okay, with the Communist Party. Now, of course, that's not just with China. There's several other countries that have what's it called, a Communist Party. Let's see here. Oh, okay, Caesar, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us live on Instagram. Hopefully we can help you out. Okay, good morning to Anu. All right, so by the way, if you're new to the channel, welcome. And we do offer free 15-minute preliminary discussion, so we can put you in the right direction. Honestly, maybe you don't need our services, but I know some people just have that one question and feel like they shouldn't have to pay $150 or $200 for a lawyer to just answer that one question. Of course, lawyers all know it's going to be more than one question, right? We get it. I get it, at least. And I also understand that you may have a lawyer right now. We're not trying to step on anyone's toes, but maybe you just want that second or third opinion, professional opinion. More than happy to give it. But of course, most lawyers don't like doing that because, of course, they don't want to step on anyone's toes. But ever since the pandemic, it's just been very clear and highlighted that people, aside from maybe possibly getting bad advice, but, some lawyers have passed away because of COVID. Most lawyers, even before pandemic, just weren't good at efficiency, having a trained team. So that's what we do here at Ting Law Group. We train our team. You can ask my team members when you call in, you can joke with them, how often does John train y'all? And literally every day. They could be tired of it. But anyways, happy to answer any questions. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find that website for y'all with USCIS, because I just answered it for someone about Communist Party. Okay, let me see here. Okay, there it is. Okay. So you're welcome. Yeah, welcome to call in this number above 720-740-4247, or you can just fill out this quiz. Or I'm trying to figure out my fingers here. Freevisaquiz.com, or just go. Another thing to do if you're a little bit shy, no problem. You can go to our website, our regular website. Go to greencardguys.com, and you'll see here that we offer free guides. Okay. So go right here, download one of these guides here. It's good, for example, about family-based options, employer, if you're an employer or you're starting your own business, they call it investor visa, like E1, E2. But one of the most popular ones is about suing for your legal status. Okay, mandamus lawsuit. A lot of people waiting, which actually, if I could answer, at least share one question that someone asked me earlier today. Just wanted to put it out there because maybe others could think this, but it was, I'm not going to say specifically what kind of interview, but actually, 2023 USCIS trend is for marriage cases to waive the interview. Okay. So I think that's why this person thought it, but it was for the person asked about another case type. Actually, it doesn't matter. I can share it. The person asked about asylum interview, if that can be waived. As far as I know, the law doesn't allow that in the policy manual for USCIS to waive an asylum interview. I just don't. In some scenarios, the asylum applicant's um, application and declaration, basically telling the story of why that person's claiming fear of their country, could be pretty strong just from those documents. But as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, it will still require interview. So anyway, someone thought that suing the government could bypass, like completely skip the interview. Unfortunately, no. It is, in general, even if it could be possible, that is the decision of the asylum office or whatever office that would be reviewing your case in general. But yeah, that's right now. The waiving interview is only for marriage cases that are in the United States. The person lives in America. Okay, so hopefully that helps clarify things in case maybe you have that question. All right. So that was a good question earlier. Some people could think that. So, but a situation where you're waiting for an interview, the mandamus lawsuit will help get you that interview much sooner. All right. So now back to the question of the day: can I get my visa showing Communist Party affiliation? And yes, that is possible. All right. Now the thing is, number one, the government wants to know what extent was your affiliation? How involved were you with the Communist Party in your country? Okay, they want to know more details, like how involved, to the extent, when, and did you hold any titles? What did you actually do for the Communist Party? Right, because the government visa officer is trying to figure out, should I grant an exception to this ground of inadmissibility? Okay, and the ground of inadmissibility in this situation is participation in a Communist Party or totalitarian party. Okay, so you want to definitely demonstrate, or even before you apply, if you haven't applied at all, you want to make sure with a lawyer on this. So now these days, we've been asking about this. Okay, uh, most people that call in about this are from China, but this really applies to any country that has a Communist Party or communist type of government, including Russia. So we've had some Russian nationals ask us as well. And we have more knowledge about this because we sue the government, right? USCIS or Department of State, for example. So that's why it's important. Let me see if I can find exemption. Okay. So if you don't meet the exemption or exception, however you want to call it, then you need to apply for a waiver. Now, of course, I won't say of course, but most people are not eligible for the waiver inherently, because especially if you are abroad. Okay. Now, of course, you could apply for a waiver or apply request as exemption when you're in the United States. We've had this scenario before for clients and need to request an exemption or file for a waiver. But this is based on could be any kind of case, but lately we've been getting this kind of request excuse me, based on national interest waiver. People who applied for national interest waiver, got that approved by USCIS, and had the interview, had a great interview, maybe 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden you get an email asking these particular questions, like give me a statement, send me your resume, whatnot. It's ridiculous. You would think the government would tell you this information beforehand or ask you information about this during the interview, but they don't. So that's why in this kind of consultation with us, we share these kind of concerns or red flag just so you're ready and that we can prepare you when that time comes. Now, it could be, of course, several months from now for the interview, but if I were a client, I'd probably be a little bit frustrated if, even though get the USCIS petition approved, an application approved, and then 6 months later or whatnot, get stopped, right? So that's why we go on a live show, share this information, because we believe knowledge is power. Knowledge can help you make a more informed decision and help you prepare for the interview. Okay. All right. So let me share my screen. Oh, it kind of feels like I'm sick, but maybe I'm just losing my voice every time I go live. Okay, let me see. Maybe that's a little too large. Okay, let me make it a little smaller. Okay, so folks on IG, I'm sharing my screen here on the USCIS policy manual. I do see some questions, by the way. I'll get to that very soon. Thank you so much. We're probably going to be live for another 5 to 10 minutes. But today's topic is about can my participation or membership in a Communist Party affiliation still allow me to get status, okay? Legal status. Now, here we're looking at, this is one of the grounds of inadmissibility, is being a member of a totalitarian party or communist government, okay? Communist Party. Now, scrolling down here. Okay, this applies to when someone, people ask, well, you may ask, well, what scenario would I should be definitely be concerned about this? It's pretty much any time you're applying for an immigration benefit. It could be, let's see, typically when you're getting non-immigrant immigrant status, whether you're in the United States or not. Now, would they ask this on a non-immigrant status? Let's say like L1 visa or H1B. No, they typically do not, and they shouldn't, because this is related to when people are applying to get the green card. Okay, so but that kind of give you an idea. Let's see here. All right, so step number one. All right, I won't go through each line item, but essentially, first they want to make sure, are you part of the Communist Party or totalitarian party? Number two, then if yes, then number two, step two is determine if the applicant has a connection to the organization that rises to the level of membership or affiliation with such organization. So most people call us, they're already like an actual member. And, but even though they're a member, essentially, was it forced on them? Like, did they apply for a job that's related to like state owned, meaning, essentially owned by the country, by the party, and they need to comply, right? So then they actually need to sign their name on something on a form and join the party. And so most people is yes. The step number three, determine whether that membership or affiliation was meaningful. Okay, they use that in quotation, so it's defined later in the policy manual. And if it's not meaningful, then that's when we're asking the government, the visa officer or USCIS officer to say that the exemption applies in the situation. Now, determine if one of the exceptions applies. So that's where it's more specific. And let me see if I can share that. It should be here on this page. So for those folks on Instagram, sorry, I don't know how to share my screen on this. I don't think they allow it. So they have definition of what is considered meaningful membership or not meaningful. Let's see here. Uh, for example, a person's membership of affiliation is meaningful if the evidence shows that the person is aware of the political aspects of the prescribed organization during their time of membership, or if evidence shows that um, the person engaged in the party activities. Okay, that is a crucial question. Were you? Let me see if I increase my. Essentially, what did you do with the party during your time before applying, right? So you need to show evidence that essentially that you were not doing anything, which could even be a screenshot. I don't know. Somehow you could get a screenshot from computer system, even if it's not quote unquote printable, but you need to do whatever it takes so you can prove that you were not meaningfully a member of the Communist Party. Okay. Now, burden is always on the immigrant applicant in these kind of applications that you essentially need to disprove what the government could think, the visa officer. And then you might think, well, how will the government even know, right? How will the government know that I'm even signed up as a member? The question is on the form, so you really should not lie. Okay, some people might think, oh, if I just mark no, then they're not even going to ask me. Okay, but if USCIS or the visa officer like somehow gets information about you and it proves that you lied, that you're going to be in a big trouble. Okay, you don't want to do that. All right, then your credibility is what we call in America shot. It's like gone because you already lied for, I don't want to call it a simple question, but it's an important question that the US government has. As you can imagine, espionage is going on. I don't have any direct knowledge about this, of course, but an example is about the spy balloon. I'm not going to go into detail about that right now, but it's politics. So that's why you have to tell the truth, okay, and be ready to disprove that you're not meaningfully a member of the party, okay? And maybe who knows? Maybe it could be example is your membership form when you applied or became a member of the Communist Party. But yeah, that could have been a while ago. Who knows if you? I doubt it's like not like America where you can submit a request for public information request or FOIA. Not sure if there's a process like that in China or Russia or even Vietnam, but that's something to consider. Okay. And here's my screen. I want to share again on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Here's the list of exceptions, and waivers. So here's some. I mean, the most common one, or I'm going to say common, but I guess you could say obvious one is if it's involuntary. All right, if somehow you're forced to join, but involuntary, I would believe that that's, for example, like you didn't sign the form, but someone else signed it, or in duress, where someone, like, for example, duress meaning like your life was in danger, someone pointed a gun at you, and you had to sign up. So to be a member, or you were under 16 years old, or what they call operation by law, or you joined because it was required for work or for food rations, or essentially they call essentials of living, and where it was necessary for such purposes. So this is just a short list. You could potentially argue other reasons. But anyway, that was very important for us to share today, coming off a holiday, because we've just received an uptick of calls related to this. So again, this is one of those situations where don't give up, folks. It might be a situation where it could be you already had the interview. More specific, I'm talking about people who are abroad. You already had an interview. It's been like 2 or 3 months. Not to say you should just wait, but you want to be ready, because if you're going to call us, for example, or schedule a consult, which we greatly appreciate, you want to make sure that that you have this information ready. Which so far, actually, that answers these questions I just that I mentioned in the policy manual. So we don't waste any time for you. Okay. So we can provide the best answer possible for you. But if it's definitely past, let's say like 6 months, and they haven't made a decision on your admissibility, okay, when it's related to Communist Party affiliation, you definitely want to take action. Okay, you want to consider mandamus lawsuit. Um, anyway, so a lot of people have been asking, okay, I see this information about non-reviewability of consular processing cases. There's actually recent case law that does allow reviewing cases where people have the interview abroad. But of course, in general, just like anything in America, when there is a concern of national security, they're typically just going to put it on the wayside unless they're sued. But even if they're sued, that doesn't mean you're going to get the visa issued, but you're going to have your case relooked at, reviewed again. Okay, especially when there's a lot of people that the officers have to review. And it's not one of those situations that USCIS or visa officers have like a ticket system. Like in America, you go to the DPS, Department of Motor or Public Safety, or DMV, Department of Motor Vehicle, or you just go to a county office, you get a little ticket. So and then there's like on the board on the wall, you see like the timing, like you get an idea where a number is going to be called. That's not like that with the US government, okay? At the federal level, unfortunately, there is no ticket that you can pull. That'd be great. You can submit inquiry, but that might be the best we can do, right? Unless it meets what we call quote unquote unreasonable timing after you waited so long, okay? So, for the folks that are just joining in, the topic of the day: can I get my visa? Can I get my legal status? Even though I showed Communist Party affiliation, yes, it is possible. Do not give up. Now, let me get to some questions here. All right. Hopefully, you're still on, Leah. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Hello, can undocumented person who's in removal proceedings marry someone undocumented who's applying for asylum at USCIS? Can he or she add his or her spouse to asylum application? Um, yes, you can, but of course, number one, it's a big decision to get married. But let me see. We never. I'll have to check on that. Okay. Well, the answer is yes. You can be added, but the other question is, can you be added afterwards? Because especially if you're depending on your time to get married, I mean, it sounds like you're in America, of course, because your fiance filed the case in USCIS. But going to apply for your marriage license, generally it's fairly quick. Like you could, I think, get it the same day and wait some time afterwards. But there's like a waiting period. I think in Texas is 72 hours. But anyway, if the timing is not right, the question is, can you get married after the asylum interview? Okay, so let me see if I can find that real quick. Asylum. Or not just the interview, but be added after the decision. Huh. So I believe the form, in general, the form is I-730. Okay. So you want to take a look at that. And then the answer might be in this form, okay, for your situation. All right, looking at this. And by the way, if anyone else is watching this video and concerned about your child has to be under 21, okay, to access the benefit of this. Is living outside America or inside America. And that is one main reason to file a lawsuit, especially if your child is about to be 21. Okay. Now, if it's going to be like next month, turn 21, I mean, definitely in that situation, it's hard to even promise that you get an interview in 1 month time after suing. But USCIS usually needs at least 1 month to make a decision to mail that into you. All right, trying to see if I can find this question. Okay, so this is how we look at it, okay? Let me see if I can share my screen. Looking at the instructions, and okay, let me click on this, share my screen. Let me move your comment out. And sorry for those folks on IG, you can't see this. I'm sharing my screen. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm scrolling down. This is I-730. This instruction, this PDF instructions might answer your question in case you don't get married right now before the interview. All right, so it says who may not file this form I-730, who are not eligible. And what the government's trying to do is they're trying to make, they're trying not to waste your time if you file this application, because inherently, if you file and you're not legally eligible for this, let's say your spouse, then I'm sorry, for you, okay, depending on the scenario, then it's going to backlog the system, right? So that's why they're very intentional about this. So they have a long list. You might want to take a look at this. Now it says, okay, there we go. So there's the answer. If you are the principal asylee, so Alaya, if this is you, I think you said that your fiance is the principal applicant. The relationship, it says that your relationship with your spouse, let's say, or even your kid, must have existed on the date that you were granted asylum in the United States, and of course must continue to exist. So if you get divorced, then it's not going to count if they find out. Okay, if the person, one example A, or scenario A, if the person you're filing for is a child who was conceived but not yet born on the date you were granted asylum in the U.S., the relationship will be considered to exist as of the date you were granted asylum in the U.S. Oh, interesting. That's good to know. Which is, yeah, very interesting. But I mean, that would benefit you guys, y'all. All right. As scenario B, the mother of such child is not eligible to be considered a relative to join on this I-730 unless the mother was married to you. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see if there's anything else that mentions about spouse. I don't. Okay, here it goes. This might be obvious, but it says you can't apply for this if I-730 if a spouse or child has been previously been granted a refugee or asylee status. I think what they're trying to get at is maybe that person's been approved but then was revoked, right? Because they have that time restriction on when you can apply to become a resident, or even is revoked for fraudulent reasons. Okay, it says for husband or wife, if each was not physically present at the marriage ceremony and the marriage was not consummated, then that person cannot apply for this I-730. Or a husband or wife, if it's determined that such immigrant has attempted or conspired to enter into marriage for purpose of evading immigration laws, then doesn't count. Okay, well, we know that already. So what I'm looking at is the instruction page for PDF by USCIS. So there's one place that we look also to verify. And of course, if this doesn't show the answer, then we do research somewhere else in our books. Okay, so it actually, after reviewing that, it doesn't look like it specified the timing. All right. When I showed mother here, is specific about the child. All right, but it doesn't say. So you need to speak to an asylum lawyer, okay, to verify. But let's see. Okay. All right. So hopefully that was helpful to some extent, at least. Hey, Anu, nice to see you. You're going to India after 11 years. Okay, sounds like you got your AP then. Okay, good. You need to check if your AP card is working or not. Okay. Well, yeah, I think maybe you did say that last week. You got your Advanced Pro card. Congratulations. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, I think yours is a VAWA case, so no concern about asylum or anything like that. Alaya, Another thing you might want to consider is that if okay, your spouse is in, well, actually, maybe just saying in general, maybe not your spouse, but yeah, that person's in removal proceedings. Okay, yeah. Well, if you sounds like you don't have an asylum lawyer, um, we have referrals for you. If you need it, let us know. Okay, you can call us right up here. All right, 720-740-4247. Give us a call and we can share that and give us your email. We're happy to share that with you. Okay. All right, folks. You guys are a bit shy. All right, Caesar. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Well, if anything, today's Tuesday. Enjoy the beginning of your week and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.